Into this is map number 3 of DreamHack Winter 2014 here. Very, very close towards the deep stages of this tournament now. There's only 4 players remain, excuse me, up here to the left-hand side of Catalina as the red Terran player currently up 2-0. Plays for Team Liquid, it's TaeJa!
And this is, this is match point for this guy at this point. The blue Terran player needs to just recollect himself, playing for Team My Insanity. Give a cheer for jjakji.
jjakji, of course, having a fantastic 2014 overall. He's missed out on some really big championship victories. He's doing so close so many times here. This is his fifth top 4 at least finish this year. And he continues to stretch further and further towards a final. He did reach the final of DreamHack Moscow, which gave him the position that he is today playing in DreamHack Winter. But he's now walked into DreamHack itself, which is Liquid TaeJa. And the builds have taken shape once again here, Nathanius. Both players opening up exactly the same.
Gas first.
Gas first.
Good old gas first. It's funny to think about like what led us to this place, and a lot of it for this season was the map pool, but a lot of players that kind of shied away from this. We saw mostly 15 gas openers once Hellbat drops got nerfed, and then they decreased the cost of Cloak for Banshees, and it made that option so good that mixing it up between the Hellion drops and all that sort of thing, like if you watch TVT and Pro League in the last year, a lot of them would be openings with these games, and those guys were way ahead of everybody else. We saw lots of short games earlier this year, and now it's just kind of taken over the matchup everywhere.
One small victory here for jjakji. He was able to get the first scouting information in this game. He's been able to go inside his opponent's base, have a look, and get out. Whereas TaeJa, still actively trying to find where his opponent spawned. Of course, this map being a 3-player one, he went down to the bottom right, now must go all the way up to the north. But he's not going to be able to get too much information. He'll see that his opponent's on one base. He can try to figure out that it's probably a gas first, knowing how many units he has at the current point in the game. But jjakji, full of information. Is he going to play a defensive style from this position? Does he want to try to play aggressive? He's got a Hellion on the way. Of course, Marine still pumping. Starport comes down. We'll figure out if he will play aggressive or not in a second, once his build does develop a little bit more.
Yeah, big things, of course, to always keep your eyes on when players are going for gas-first strategies is if and or when they take that second gas. Neither player has gone for it so far, and we're seeing pretty mirror builds. There's the second gas from TaeJa, so a pretty late second gas. Maybe he wants to open up with a medevac and get a late Viking, or he's just focusing on maybe build a Widow Mine and a medevac at the same time. But either way, it does appear that jjakji's going to just try to do it straight up with Hellions and Marines.
I think this could be pretty good, actually, depending on where TaeJa goes. Does he try to get a Banshee from this position? Unfortunately not. He's going for a Widow Mine and medevac, so this could work out. I think jjakji hoping we were to see some type of Banshee opening, because he could get in there before the Banshee was out. Maybe, you know, if the Banshee was caught on the other side of the map, he could deal damage to the SCVs with this type of drop, but that's not exactly how TaeJa's decided to play this one at the moment.
No. So the medevacs are coming out, and this is it. This is what we're going to see. Which player wants to move out? Are they going to run into each other, as happened in the series that Polt was so unfortunate in? Reactor back home, so a little bit less production. Tech Lab back home for TaeJa.
Medivacs all going to cross paths here. Do they keep going? TaeJa continues on. Likewise does jjakji at this point, but it's so early in the game. It's only 6 minutes. They have so few units out to defend, especially when you're attacking your opponent. The Widow Mine plants itself, Marines into the SCV line. Likewise, jjakji's going to do the same. This game could end incredibly fast here if one player deals enough damage.
Yeah, TaeJa did leave some units at home. He has his siege tank coming up, picks off the Viking of jjakji in his base. So he's just going to use his SCVs. He has a few more fighting units back home, and once his tank comes out, TaeJa gets a bit more staying power. jjakji, though, he's the one he's not mining at all. He's lost pretty much everything.
jjakji's killed 17 SCVs here. That is a huge amount of workers for this part of the game. TaeJa down to 8, but he's now going to try to deal the counter damage into his opponent's SCV line.
Oh, that Widow Mine actually hurting the SCVs of TaeJa a bit more. And jjakji, with the Hellions, with these Marines, you know, the healing power of the medevac is not quite that strong. The only thing that's really making this tricky looking forward is
GG, TaeJa takes a 3-0. jjakji couldn't hold on. TaeJa finds himself one further place in this tournament, and he gets his wish to play against StarTel Life in the next round. TaeJa, very fast 3-0 again.
Yeah, TaeJa has had quite a bit of experience with that in this tournament with some fantastic games. And yeah, he had a great follow-up after that initial push. Like, once those players had traded out the units they had in each other's base, TaeJa had the tank. He could just kill him. All he had was a Hellion and 2 Marines.
Well, TaeJa finds himself exactly where he wants to be. Unfortunately there for jjakji, showing great performance at this tournament, a fantastic performance, and you know, a good roundup for his year as well to get another top 4 finish. Unfortunately couldn't break through to the top 3 at this event, but that leaves us with 4GG in the global finals at the end there, the grand finals, and then of course Life versus TaeJa.